Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Clippers take down the Lakers 102-97 at Crypto.com Arena on the Lakers' home floor. I have so many thoughts about this basketball game. So many thoughts. First of all, got to give credit to Anthony Davis for just bulling through. He had a really scary fall where he landed on his hip and his back area, and we know that the lower back has been what's kept him out for the preseason, and most of the time we've been kind of worried about that, and he fell directly on it, but he put the heating pad on there and just continued to play and ultimately closed the game out for us. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to see how he reacts to overnight, but I really liked the heart that he showed. It became a situation where you're listening to the announcers on TNT, and they're giving it more credence than it looked like he is. He's bulling through. He's telling everybody he's cool. So it's just like, I like how he handled that. I think it's mind over matter with him. When you take a tumble like that, you got to think about the work you've put in the off season to pushing uphill and various different things that he was doing. That is meant for you to be able to withstand a fall like that. That's why you do the conditioning that he did. That's why you continue doing that conditioning, because it's ultimately going to make it so that you're able to endure a little more than maybe you would have in the past. So I thought he handled it well. I think the work that he put in the off season has helped, and I think he's going to be okay. Now, last time I did that, I predicted something was fine and it wasn't, so I don't, knock on wood, but I like how he responded to what happened. All right. Bron James. Bron James is very explosive. You got to give him credit defensively, blocking shots, getting above the rim. I love the effort defensively, particularly above the rim. Just making sure he was blocking all kinds of shots tonight, making sure people felt his presence. He was very much energized by Patrick Beverley's energy. I thought that he very much fed off of that. I thought Anthony Davis fed off of that. And I thought Patrick Beverley really helped us in the areas that are not seen on the floor. I thought you could tell he was talking to guys, and you could tell they were feeding off of it. And I think he was very much part of the catalyst that brought us all the way back in that second quarter. A 24-4 run the Lakers went on. So we found things that worked. If you listen to me talking, you think we had a lot of good things to talk about in regards to this game. But for me, it's because I see so many different silver linings in this game, and I know that is not what's going to be talked about. For example, Russell Westbrook was 0 for 11. You would say he had the worst game, contributed to all kinds of bad things, right? 0 for 11, that's the worst thing in the world. But he had 1 turnover and 5 steals. So in this game, if you ask me, I thought this was the best game Russell Westbrook's played as a Laker in a long time. And it didn't matter that he missed shots. It didn't matter that he started off cold. It was what he was doing to help his team defensively that ultimately was why the game was so close while he was on the floor. Paul George twice tried to telegraph a pass to Kawhi Leonard over his head. He stole the ball twice. You know what I mean? He had the breakaway steal earlier in the game on Powell was a catalyst of the break, and he was only a -7 in the box score in terms of the plus minus. So when you consider missing 11 shots and not hitting a single one and only being -7, when your team loses by, 5? I'd say you managed yourself well. So I want to give Russell Westbrook credit, because I know no one's going to really say that he had a good game, but that was the best 0 for 11 basketball game I've ever seen in my life. Truthfully, I thought he played as good as anyone could ever play, missing that many shots. So that's how I felt. I really legitimately feel that way. Also, Walker, I thought he really played great the second half. The first half, I thought he was really taking it to the team as well, but I thought some of the things he was doing was a bit forced here and there, and I mentioned it, and I kind of lumped him in there with Kendrick Nunn, who really had an awful basketball game, but Walker was not a part of that. Walker definitely was a big part of what we did throughout the entire game. His athleticism helped us, even though, of course, we were trying jump shots and three-point shots. The whole team was trying them. Nobody was hitting them. But the point was, Walker was very much a catalyst for us, and he was a big part of why we were close. I think he had, 25 points or something like that? That was huge for him. And for a guy who's on a 1-year contract trying to get some money, that's exactly what we need to see. That's what the scouts are going to need to see, etc. Just continue to help us in the open court. Continue to make plays for others where you can. You know what I mean? And I just felt like he ultimately was a huge part of why we were okay. You know, it's one of those situations where you would think the Lakers won, but we didn't. We lost, and we lost bad in a sense because ultimately we had some fake comebacks and we're down by as much as 20 here and there. But it was hard. You know, that's why I walk away feeling better about this game than you would probably feel when you lose to a rival in this fashion. With all the brick shots that we missed, I just understand that we're only missing one element of basketball in terms of the fundamental style of play that we have going for ourselves. That's really what it is. For all the problems that the Lakers had last year, I don't see as many problems with this roster. I just see a big problem that makes it so that we have a hard time competing, and that is the inability to hit three-point shots. Okay, so let's get to the negative aspects of this game, because I've sung the praises of this game. I've gotten the silver lining out. Now let's get to the more obvious stuff that you're going to hear tomorrow. The Los Angeles Lakers shot over 43 three-point shots tonight. We are one of the worst three-point shooting teams assembled in the modern era. Period. Like, in the modern era, we're one of the worst shooting teams on paper. And we're attempting more three-point shots than a good three-point shooting team would like to. That right there is a fundamental problem that I don't have an excuse for. There's no excuse for that. It comes down to common sense and what it is your goal is. If you know your team can't shoot, why are you attempting an above average amount of three-point shots? And to have only lost by 5 in a game like that, you know you would have blew them out if you would have shot a decent amount of three-point shots as it pertains to what it is you're expected to be. Yes, you take the ones they give you. But let me tell you something. The Los Angeles Lakers passed up a bunch of good three-point shots. They took some bad ones and passed up some good ones. And that's the problem I have. When they see the footage tomorrow, you're going to see a three-point shot that Russell Westbrook should have took in the fourth quarter. You're going to see a three-point shot that Juan Toscano Anderson, no, he didn't pass up one. He bricked one. But Lonnie Walker should have taken. So it's not like they took every three-point shot. That's the thing that bothers me. It's like when I hear guys talk about the three in regards to our team, it's like, well, they're giving us threes. We're taking the ones they're giving us. No. No, if you look at the footage, we passed on the ones we should have took and took the ones we had no business taking. That's what ended up happening tonight. And then there was another glaring problem that we had this evening. Actually, there's three. We're going to talk about a third. But the second glaring problem that I saw there was the rebounding situation. We got out-rebounded by 20 tonight. By 20. I don't have any excuse for that because I keep telling the team what we need to do, and we're not necessarily finding out that this is working. So we got to use Wenyen Gabriel, man. He got scratched tonight at DNP, and I don't see anything in his game that would back that up. Like Damian Jones, I can say, you know what? He don't need to be playing that much. Kendrick Nunn only played 11 minutes. We'll get into him a little later. But these things make sense. Not playing Wenyen Gabriel, that doesn't match the data that his preseason time showed us. We should have more faith in that player based on what it is we've seen. I want us to get that together, and I'm going to keep preaching that until we do. He needs at least 15 minutes a game. DMPs, for a guy like that with the problems we have, nah, that's bad. That's not going to get it done. I'm not cool with that at all. So that's something I'm going to keep screaming. What else? There was something else I want to get into immediately. Okay, Zubac. Ivica Zubac made me look like an idiot today, and I am eating crow once again. This is the second time I'm eating crow today. I've made myself look rather silly on my channel today, but I said Zubac wasn't guarding anybody. He came out of there and had 17 rebounds, 5 blocks. So clearly he was guarding somebody. He had fantastic defensive stats. Helped his team tremendously. But this is the problem that I have with Zubac. There's nothing wrong with Zubac at all. But this is the problem how we handled him as the Lakers. First of all, we traded him for peanuts and a bag of Cheetos, and that is still the second worst trade in the history of the sport, only to be trumped by the Rudy Gobert trade that just took place. But nevertheless, The way we handled Zubac tonight pissed me off because he is literally the only center that they had in rotation tonight. The only C. And do you know how many fouls he had? 2. 2 fouls. They only have one center, and he was murdering us, and he only had 2 fouls. And we shot 46 threes. Y'all see all that? You see how all of that looks bad? You see how all of that should not have never happened? Because when you're shooting that many threes, you're not taking it to the center. If you're not taking it to the center, he's not taking a seat. So he gets to block all these damn shots and gets 17 damn boards. It's strategy, man. I'm looking at Darvin. I'm not looking at nobody else but Darvin when it comes to this. The games count now, bro. They count now. So I don't need lineups with Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, and Damian Jones in the same lineup. Okay, let's just point out what we saw that did not work. There was a lineup there where we put those 3 players in the same lineup together, and we had too much not working out at the same time. The doors were blown wide open in that situation. Need not ever see that again. We need not ever see that again. Kendrick Nunn, brother, you played 11 minutes. How the hell did you shoot 7 shots and miss all of them? All of them? You were down there for 11 minutes. You ain't do nothing else. I can't deal with the inconsistency there. Not after what we went through last year. He missed the whole season. And we get him out here, he plays really good some games, and then he comes out here and do this when we're struggling. This when we're struggling? This is the problem that I had with LeBron in the last game. I'm gonna call out the superstars, and I'm gonna call out the role players on the same stuff. I don't care. If you know your team is struggling, don't cater to those struggles by doing things that the team is struggling doing. Everybody around you is struggling to score. Do not jack up bad shots, fam. That's all I'm saying. I didn't see a good shot Kendrick took. Not one good shot, man. They were all bad, all out of rhythm, all completely ill-advised. And I'm telling you, I don't have no patience for that. We already got too much ineptitude to deal with. We can't have that from him. Just like I had the problem with Damian Jones and the issues in the last game of the preseason. I can't have that from him. We got too many problems. So, because we have all these problems, I'm telling you, there's not a lot of rope for guys to make mistakes like that. I mean, it's not about mistakes. It's just about low IQ, not having any tone for what it is your team needs and what it does not. When you're not a very talented team, there's only so much you can get away with. You can't not attack the center when you clearly see he's having the game of his life. He's having the game of his life. Go at him. Get him off the floor. Give him something to think about. He can't walk away from a game with 2 fouls, 5 blocks, and 17 boards. And you didn't shot nothing but you didn't shot 46 threes and only hit like 8 of them. I mean, what kind of strategy? I know you're a rookie coach, bro, but no. We just sat through a whole year of Frank Vogel. We ain't gonna be able to deal with a whole lot of patience of this. We're gonna go crazy. So I'm just gonna tell people right now, the roster is a problem. But the biggest problem the Lakers have is common damn sense. It's just common sense, man. You can't shoot. Don't shoot. You should be running away from the 3-point line. I think Walker had it right at one point. 37 had it right at one point. You just got to run off the 3-point line, man. You got to look at that line and see it as something that is not a positive for you when you shoot it. And until you get that in your head, you're going to play into to the strength of the defense every single time. This is not last year. We had decent shooters last year. For all of the problems that we had, some of them dudes could shoot. This year, we need to get that 3-point line out of our minds. We need to see that thing as a problem, not as a solution. All them rhythm threes you think you need to be making, this is not that. You need to go to old school basketball ways, because every 3-point shot you take is a brick. All of them. I'm just trying to help my team understand how we need to play. 18 3-point shots is all we need to create the space that we're asking for. 18 as a team. That's all you need. All the space that y'all trying to create with threes, 18 will get it done. I promise you don't need no more than 18 a game. You turn those other 3-point shots that you're shooting into plays where you're running off of the 3-point line. in shooting mid-range or running at the center and trying to get a foul drawn. We got nothing but slashers. LeBron James, Kendrick Nunn, all these guys. Walker obviously was doing a good job of that tonight. These guys slash. That's what they do. They go to the rim. Go to the damn rim. You know, I understand we're in an era where we shoot threes. I get that. And I understand that everybody sees the game in a three-point way. Bam, 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 look for the three-point shot. Bam, it's open, shoot it. Bam, 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 look for the three-point shot, open, shoot it. I get it. That's the era we're in. That's how you see the game. But trust you me, it's a fluid game. It's a million ways to play. And if we would have cut down on half of them three-point shots, we would have blew this damn team out. Don't you see it? It would have blew them out. We only lost by 5. So I don't want to hear about my team not being good. I understand that. That's not why we lost. We lost because we tried to do things we cannot do. Anybody will lose doing that. You see what I'm saying? Anybody will lose doing things that they cannot do. It doesn't matter if you're a great player or a guy playing in the Little League. I mean, you play to your strengths no matter what it is you're doing in life, man. That's why I have a little to no patience for what I saw on the basketball court tonight. Because I'm like, are we not self-aware as a team? Like, do we not know we're the worst three-point shooting team in the league? But you want to attempt more than everybody else? Nah, man. No, that's not why Jeannie's paying the luxury tax, ladies and gentlemen. That's not why she's doing that. That's not why. And I'll tell you right now, I skipped all the mentality of myself, and I just went straight into her seat when I was watching this. I'm like, that's not what I'm paying for, bro. I put myself immediately in her shoes, and I'm saying, no. This team's too damn expensive for that. It's too expensive for that. I'm sorry. It's exactly where my head went when I was watching this. I think the Stars played well. Like I said, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they gave us what we needed. And I've sung Patrick Beverley's praises, so we're going to have to go ahead and shoot him down now. Patrick, I love what you're doing off the court. You're just lighting the fire on guys. I love what you're doing defensively, hounding people. So you're helping your team. The three-point shot, just like everybody else. If you know we ain't hitting it well, bro, you too have to run off that thing, man. You too have to run off of it. Most of the possessions that went left for us with missed three-point shots, and you were shooting a lot of them. You were shooting a lot of them. Westbrook was shooting a lot of them. Braun was shooting a lot of them. Nunn, Walker, everybody was shooting. Everybody was breaking. So at some point in time, as one of the leaders, Patrick Beverley has to not be the part of the problem in that situation. No different than Braun. You got to look and say, I can't be a part of the problem. You feel me? That's what it has to be. So I'm looking around and I'm saying guys need to take into account who they are and who they're not. We don't play for the Golden State Warriors. Nobody's playing for Dallas. Ain't none of y'all's no shooters. You got to take steps inside and try to make this a physical basketball game. If you would have took it to Zubac, you got his butt off the floor, you would have found out they had nobody above 6'5" to put on the floor. Nobody that's worth talking about. If you notice, Batum was the guy who was trying to guard AD at one point, trying to guard Braun at one point. They don't have nobody else they trust. That's why Zubac was able to get the numbers that he got, because he was the only guy on the floor. They played him most of the game. Why? Because he was never in foul trouble. We never took it to him. That's why. So I couldn't be more disappointed. It's a different kind of frustration than last year. Last year was like, I'm sick of seeing us be small. I don't like the effort. I think guys needed fire lit under. None of that was the problem. Guys had plenty fire lit under them. I love what I saw in that regard. Because I saw guys slacking, and then I saw other guys holding guys accountable. That's what I saw. So I needed more of that last year. But what I now need is higher basketball IQ. It is not deeper than that. Now we're missing that. Now we're missing the guys that know what they need to do to not be a part of the problem. And I'm telling you, if I'm GM, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm getting on the phone and I'm talking about other deals that don't involve those two picks. I'm shopping people. Even if it's just to get a little moderate, little nice little piece, I am going to bring someone else in that is not on this roster right now. And I'm getting a couple guys the hell up out of here. I'm sorry. Because this team ain't good enough. And we're not going to make it to that point where we can make the Kyrie trade or whatever the toothpick trade is. We ain't going to have a season by then. If we keep this up, we're not going to win enough games to even make a season out of this. Tanking teams or not, we're just going to suck. And that's just going to be it. These guys don't grow a bit of common sense to understand they can't damn shoot, so stop shooting so much. At least not so much, if not at all, really. If not at all. So, I want the Los Angeles Lakers to open their mind and fathom a world where you only have to take 18 three-point shots a game. Then I want you to look at the data and realize that you can actually pull it off. Because these teams can't stop you in the paint. We had 60 points in the paint on the Golden State Warriors, and tonight we would have had a lot of points in the paint if we would have just took it to them a little bit. Just a little bit. Instead of settling for bad three-point shots and getting frustrated with those three-point shots, so further shooting more three-point shots. That's another thing about this team. I get it. We're relentless. But we're relentless in a stupid way. Because it's like we try to force things that don't work. It's like, damn it, we're going to keep trying this imperfect piece. We're going to make it work. No, that's not the right type of determination. You got to take that determination and turn it into something that allows you to make new things happen for yourself. Not trying to recreate stuff that just isn't working. So that's where I'm at with my team. God dog it, put some common sense on this damn season. The excuses that we have about our roster have nothing to do with why we're losing. That's what I'm here to tell you. It's about guys doing things that work for themselves. That's it. You gotta know who you are, know who you're not, and do those things. And if that's the problem, if the problem is identifying who we are, then we got bigger problems than what's on the basketball floor. So that's where I'm at with that. This ain't necessarily about the numbers and the X's and O's, all of that. Not as much. It's just about guys using some damn common sense out there. I don't remember cussing this much last year, y'all. It's a different feel. It's a different feel because I think I expect more. I think I look at this as a better basketball team than last year. I think I look at this as a better coaching staff than last year. I look at this as a better version of Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the type of things I just like. I'm looking around. I'm like, I know we can't shoot. I know that. So don't. Is the next thing to think about in that regard. That's the next order of business, is to identify you can't do something and then don't do it. That's all. So that's what I want to say, man. I'm looking at the Los Angeles Clippers. They're exactly what I said they were. A really talented team that's too short. They're tiny, and if they don't get themselves a center, they're gonna have a lot of problems. Because let me tell you something. They could have lost this game a million different ways. A million different ways. Let's not sit up here and act like they was kicking butt. They wasn't. They was not. And Norman Powell, bro, I lost so much respect for Norman Powell out there today. Did he do anything but flop? All that man did was come in the game and just act like people was shooting him and stuff. Like, wow, he was a damn stunt man all night long. I ain't like nothing about how he handled that. Nothing about it. And I know that's part of the game. I get it. They got players in the league that do that. But he's too talented of a player to come in acting like that. Now, what is that, bro? Your coach tell you to do that? I wasn't feeling none of that. Respect the game, man. At some point in time, you gotta ask guys, respect the game. I get it. You can flop. You know what I mean? Marcus Smart type players, PJ Tucker, and a lot of these guys have made careers out of flopping. I think it's Jay Crowder who does that all the time. He just come in flying off of people. But I expect more from Norman Powell. Norman Powell's more talented than those guys. So for me, it's like, when you can drop 30 in your sleep, I don't want to see you acting like a damn stuntman out there. Nah, I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it. So it was a lot there to just look at the Clippers. I think Kawhi Leonard needs to be getting a lot of credit. He came in and struck fast. That's what really stood out for me. He came in and struck fast. His timing was a little off here and there, but he's the cyborg, man. He ain't got no he ain't got no conscience. He gonna come at you. He gonna strategize against you, and he's gonna take you down. That's why I never really felt like we were actually gonna win the game, to be honest with you. Even when it was tied, a good portion of the third quarter, we were fighting our way back. But you just understood that they had a real GOAT level killer on the bench that's just sitting there resting, just like he's been for the last 2 years. And so at some point in time, he was gonna come in and shoot you down. And that's exactly what he did. So I wasn't surprised, but we could have kept it from happening if we would have just did a few things to help ourselves. But it is what it is. They pushed the issue. Zubac obviously gets player of the game. We talk about 17 rebounds, 5 blocks. I don't even remember how many points he had, but he had a share. And if he keeps playing like that, he's gonna be an all-star. And if they keep giving him all the minutes and don't have no other centers on the damn team, how could he not? It's ridiculous. And what did we trade him for again? Unbelievable. Still mad about that. So there you have it. Tupac Shakur got his Laker revenge game on. Sure, that's probably a career high. I didn't check. 17 boards, 5 blocks. What the heck? I've never seen him play that well. And I'm just glad our guy's getting opportunities like this. You know what I'm saying? He's still in the league, still in Los Angeles. We got big love for Zupac. So it's just not ideal seeing him in a Clipper uniform, but nobody in Laker Nation would have chosen that. It's not like he wanted to go there. So it just is what it is. I'm happy that he's in a good place, and we deserve to get our butt whooped every time we see him because of how we went about trading him, in my opinion. Just ridiculous. So that's a loss we will forever feel. And what else? Paul George did some things. Paul George, man. Like I said, what stood out in my mind was just him trying to force those 2 entry passes. You can't telegraph your passes. That's what really. I hate to let that be the thing that stands out, but I mean, it happened twice, man. you let Brody get that twice in a row. So I just, when I look at the opponent, I say common sense is also needed over there as well in that regard. If it didn't work the first time, don't try it the second time. But so I thought both teams were playing a little preseason-ish for their standards. I think both teams still trying to work their way back. Obviously, conditioning is a thing for guys that are coming back from injury, and just about everybody we mentioned is coming back from injury. So that's the one thing about the Clippers. They got a lot of that going on, but they made it through the game healthy, man. John Wall looked okay. He's going to have to work his way back, but I thought he did some good things for himself. We need not forget that he's a mid-range guy. That's another thing. We kind of played him in a way that didn't respect his mid-range game on the pick and roll, and he torched us twice and then shot us down and ended the game off of a pick and roll mid-range shot. So that's one of those things. It's like, need not forget who this is. There was a game where John Wall had one of the best career games in that building. With the Washington Wizards, he came in there and just scored 30-something in like the half or so. He just destroyed us by himself. So I ain't forgot who he is. Many of those shots that he took that game were mid-range jumpers. So people will remember. And then as he gets back in shape, people will definitely remember. So that's what I think of John Wall. And that was it, man. Nicholas Batum, played a little bit. Clippers didn't really go too deep into their bench from what I saw. Like I said, they only played one center. It's one of those situations where it's like, if the Lakers are going to make it that easy for you, you really don't have to do too much. I think Kawhi played like 20-something minutes. I don't think PG played more than 30. I mean, it was one of those situations where they were coasting because the Lakers just kept jacking up threes, making it easy on them. They're going to just keep bricking, Why work so hard? Just leave them back there and watch them shoot. So that's what I saw. So a couple things like that. You saw some nice highlights here and there. Obviously, you got LeBron James with the hammer dunk. A couple lobs. Brody had a nice one, if I'm not mistaken. Some excellent takes by Lonnie Walker III. I just think he really had a fantastic second half, taking it to that team and just making himself really, really athletic for his team. I thought it was kind of funny because Patrick Beverley tried to lob the ball to Austin Reeves. I just don't think we know how to use Austin Reeves yet. You got to let him be a setup guy. You got to let him have the ball with the intent of plays being made off of his passes. I can't stress that enough. He's going to be good if you just get him the ball early. Get him the ball early in the break. He will make the right play. Trust his ball handling a bit better than we've allowed ourselves to. I saw a couple situations tonight where guys did not want to give him the ball in the ball handling situations. AD wanted to take the ball by himself. Give him the ball, bro. He's a point guard by nature. And I'm telling you, we've already been warned. He wants point guard duties. We're going to mess around and lose this player. I'm telling you, keep our eyes open for that. Give him the ball. So, that is pretty much what I got to say, man. Between Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook, we surely could have built another facility for our team. I kid you not. It was bricks all over the place. It was ugly. Really, really ugly. And so, if we're going to talk about anything, it's going to be about how we cannot afford to shoot as poorly as we did. Rebounding the ball is a thing as well, but you know, when you play AD at the center and you don't give Winion any minutes, you're not gonna rebound the ball very well, man. We don't have rebounders, and as long as people think AD is a rebounder, we're gonna have nights like this. So I keep telling y'all. Anyway, yeah, so I would have loved for us to have won this game, but I will say that this game looked like it was going to be out of hand, and we fought our way back and made it very respectable. Second night in a row where I felt that way. Had more good things to say than one would say under the circumstances, based on the effort and based on the defense. Russell Westbrook's defense. Let that not be something we forget about. I love that Darvin Ham put Russell Westbrook in positions to be strong, guarding bigger players in the block. I think that is a very, very underrated aspect of what Russell Westbrook can do. He's a small person, but he's stronger than most. So when you have situations where somebody needs a body on them, it makes all the sense in the world, if it's just a standstill situation in the post, to let him give it a shot. And I think that we did that, and I think he made good of each and every one of those opportunities. And I thought that that was brilliant. Simply brilliant, because I never thought of that, and I know Frank Vogel never thought of that, but it makes sense. He's a strong dude. He's a big, huge muscle dude. Who's small? Well, not big, huge for his size. Obviously, bigger than anybody his size. So there has to be some way to utilize that. Darvin found it, so I definitely want to give him credit for that. I want to see him do it more, and I hope Russell Westbrook can continue to gain confidence in the defensive side of the ball by doing this. Because I'm telling you, if anything will make people pay attention to him and try to sign him to their team, it's stuff like this. It's stuff like this. And that's why I said it's the best 0-for-11 game I've ever seen. Because if I'm a scout, I feel a lot more optimistic that Russell Westbrook can help me win after watching tonight's game than I would have probably watching the game before it where he had all the stats. Because I'm not expecting him to go 0-for-11 every night. But if we can have him cut down his turnovers and get some steals, now he's giving your team something as opposed to taking it from you. So I think he did more good for himself tonight than he probably had at any other point wearing the damn uniform, to be honest with you. So that's what I'm going to say. It's very, very strange, but that is exactly what I feel about his performance tonight. And I think I'll leave it there, man. Hated this game in terms of how the outcome was, but it was fun to watch. It wasn't like some of the other games that we've had where it's tough to sit through it. This is a much more fun team to have play. I just wish Kendrick Nunn would have showed up, because really when it comes down to it, we lose by 5 and we got nothing out of one of our main scorers. So if he doesn't have an 0-for-7 game and he gives us a couple of points, what's the score looking like then? So that's what I'm talking about, man. We need everybody to show up and be ready to play. We can't have guys taking nights off mentally, you know what I mean? You can't not be ready to go. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. I know I'm going to have more to say tomorrow because this game gave me plenty. But I think I'm satisfied with my assessment at this point. So that's what I want to say to you guys. I thank you for rocking with BDF 44, and I'm out.